Good morning everyone, hope we're alright. So today what we're going to be doing is we are going to be continuing on with our sketching. What we had last week was we did a little task on isometric sketching. For those of you that handed in the work, that was really well done. Had a look through your sketches and I've left a couple comments on a couple people's, so if you all go have a wee look through that. As I said before, there's lots of different types of sketching in graphic communication, or design technology for you guys at this point. We focused on isometric sketching last week. Now we're going to learn another type of 3D sketching method. In fact, we're going to go ahead and learn two today, because I don't know whether you guys were in school for the last lockdown, or whether you missed your design and technology in first year, but in first year you would have covered one of these, but we're just going to go over it one last time just to make sure that we all understand it, and also it will help us when it comes to the actual 3D sketching technique that I want us to learn today. The two ones that we're going to learn are very similar to one another. What we're going to do is we're just going to take down the headings here. So the first one we're going to be doing is 1-point perspective. There we go. And the next one we are going to do is 2-point perspective. There we go, so that's both my headings down there. Let me just adjust. There we go, a lot more clear image. So, we're going to be focusing on 1-point perspective, and we're also going to be focusing on 2-point perspective. Now, one thing that I would say is, obviously, I'm using a pen right here. Don't use this. The only reason I'm using one is, one, because it's the one that you can actually, there we go, rub your work out with. So I could change that to maybe a wee 1 right there, and also it's just so that you can all see this good on the screen. Remember, use a sharp pencil when you're doing it. I'm only doing it with a pen so that you guys can see this a lot better and it's a lot more clear. So, 1-point perspective. If you remember, we always have a starting point for our shapes. In isometric, you started off with the bottom corner. For 1-point perspective, let's say we want to draw a basic cube again, just like we did for the first isometric sketch. So what we want to do, I'm going to sketch it down here. To start off our 1-point perspective, we want to draw one side of the shape that we're wanting to create. So I'm wanting to create a cube, so there is my square right there. So for 2-point perspective, what we want to do is we want to start off with a line, just like that. So if I do a wee quick sketch right here in isometric, this is what we did last week. You'll see the shape that I'm wanting to create. And finish off this wee cube here. So that's the shape that I'm wanting to create. To create it in 1-point perspective, I want to start off by taking one of the faces, so nice square, 2D, not 3D. So that goes there, and then for 2-point perspective, this line actually represents this starting edge right here. So this isn't a face, this is an edge. So I guess if you said that this shape here was that face, that edge is actually the exact same as this edge here when you think about it. So what we want to do is we want to start off with 1-point perspective first. So I've started off, I've sketched my square. Now what I want to do, if you're looking down a very long road, the road doesn't stay the same width the entire way, does it? If you look down it, it will gradually shrink until you can't see it. So what we're wanting to do here is we're wanting to kind of imitate that with these shapes, and we're wanting them to gradually get smaller as they go away from us. As you can see here, this part is technically moving away from me. This corner, or this edge rather, is the closest point to me if it was 3D, and then this cube's moving away. But it's not shrinking in size at all, but that's what we're wanting to do with these ones, and that's what's going to give it that more realistic look. So what we want to do first is we want to figure out where our shape is going to vanish. If we were to extend that shape, say we weren't making a cube, we were making a rectangle, and this rectangle was infinitely long, where is the point where we won't be able to see the rectangle anymore because it's too far away from us? That's where what we're wanting to try and figure out here. So what I'm going to do is just anywhere around about this shape, I'm going to place a little star right there, and what I'm going to call that is I'm going to call that my VP, and VP stands for vanishing point. So if I was looking at this cube from this angle here, that point there is where I wouldn't be able to see it anymore because it's too far away from me. So what we want to do now is we want to take this 2D square and make it into a 1-point perspective cube by making it 3D. So what we want to do is we want to take a look at all of these corners right here. So all the corners on the shape. And what we want to do is we want to extend those corners to the vanishing point. So extend that up there using the straight line skills that we used, or if you have a ruler you can use one. This corner here, and lastly this corner right here, all the way across to the vanishing point. Now, the only reason I'm saying lastly, we've only done 3 corners here. We've not touched this one. The only reason we're not touching this one is because, yes, this is a corner, and what we're doing here is we're creating the other edges right now. Yes, that is a corner right there, but we're not making a hollow shape, we're making a solid shape. So you could extend this all the way up to the vanishing point, and that would be correct, but at the same time, this is a solid surface right here, so if we extend a line across, you're not actually going to see that line if you were looking at a solid shape. So to save ourselves the work, we're just not going to bother touching that corner. So, or rather, point that I want to make, right now I put my vanishing point over here. See, if I put my vanishing point at the opposite side, I would then take 1, 2 and 3 corners up to the vanishing point, and I would leave that one. So basically all you're doing is you're leaving the corner that's the furthest away from the vanishing point, because it would be going through the shape. Okay, so what I've got here is I've got my square, and I've got these 3 corners extended to the vanishing point. Now, if you remember back when I said that this square here is going to represent this face right here. So that means that this corner, and this corner are these corners in here. So what we're doing by taking these points back to the vanishing point is we're actually creating these edges right here. But if you remember me saying that we're trying to make it look a bit more realistic, the further things are away, they get gradually smaller. So you can see that this is actually getting a lot thinner, which is giving the kind of imitation that it is getting further away from us. So I've got the lines ready for these, but this is about the length of a rectangle. The rectangle is extended all the way to the vanishing point, and we can't see it anymore. But I don't want a rectangle, do I? I want a nice cube. So what I want to do, just roughly guess, remember you can use your fingers for this, we're only sketching so it doesn't need to be accurate. So from there to there, bring that about here, place my hand down, so that was about there. So that length there is roughly about that length there. Now after that, what I've done here along this line is I've then found this small corner right here. Now, from this corner, to find this corner, we want to come along. And then to find this corner down here, we want to come straight down. So, that's what I'm going to do up here. From here, to find this bottom corner, I want to come straight down. And where that line touches, put a wee point there. And then across the way, we can see that in an isometric sketch, all of the angles will be sitting at 30 degrees. Same in here, if you kind of cut a line across the way, this angle in here will be 30 degrees. But we're not going to move back 30 degrees in this one because it's a different sketching type. As we can see, we've got this shape right here, this square. So this corner here is the exact same as this corner because it's a square. So that's going straight down, and that's going straight down. Now we want to find the next line out here, so all we're going to do is copy this line. And this line is moving horizontally across the way. So all I do is bring my line horizontally across the way until the line crosses, and that's me got my last corner. Now, what I can do is I can go in and put my outlines in. Now remember, I'm only using a pen, you guys will be using a nice sharp pencil. So nice light construction lines, that's my blue pen lines, and then afterwards you can go around your shape with your nice dark outlines, and that's what I'm using this Sharpie for. So that's fix that wee top corner there. There we go. So that is a basic 1-point perspective cube. Now, moving on to 2-point perspective. Now, you can take a wee guess at this, like I said at the start, very similar to 1-point. Now, 1-point perspective refers to the one vanishing point. So, 2-point perspective, what we actually have is we have two vanishing points. So, I'm going to label this one right here VP1. I'm going to put another one over here, wee star VP2 for vanishing point 2. Now, the reason why we only start off with an edge here is because our cube is going to go in two different directions back to two different vanishing points. If you imagine you're at a street corner right here. Oh, that's my light just gone off. Let me see if I can try and get that back on. There we go. So, we're at a street corner right here, and we're looking down two very long streets that are gradually vanishing away from us because they're so long. So, thankfully I've got the rub out pen, so I can give that a wee rub out. There we are. So, this line here represents this edge. Let me actually tidy this up a little bit as well, so you can all see. And we've lost light again. I think that's it dead. From what I can see on the screen, you still should be alright to see, so hopefully that's the case. I'll actually turn on the big light. There we are. So, back to 2-point perspective. This line here represents this edge. Now, we've got a point here, or I should rather say a corner, and a corner down here. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that this is my top corner, and this is my bottom corner right here. Now, from that corner and that corner, we want to take them both back to the vanishing point. So, take that to the vanishing point, and take that to the vanishing point. But, if you remember, 2-point perspective, two vanishing points, so I'm going to do the exact same to this one. And then from the other corner to the other vanishing point. Maybe go over that one again. There we are. So, if you remember, what I started off with is I started off here with this face, and then I extended these lines back to the vanishing point to start creating this face here. What I've done here is I've started off with this edge, and now what I've done by bringing it back to both vanishing points is I've started to create this side and this side as well. So, again, square, or cube rather, all the sides will be the exact same. So take a rough measurement there, spin it round, so I'd say about there, and exact same thing on the other side. Nice wee trick. What you can do is you can actually just draw a horizontal line straight across and say, yep, that would be it there. Now, what we've done, if we darken in those lines a tiny little bit, we've now created, we started with this line, and now we've created this edge here, and we also have these two corners. So we've got this shape right here. Now, when we get to this corner and this corner, what happens is the lines come straight up. So we're going to do the exact same thing here. Bring our lines straight up and straight up. And now what we want to do, or rather what we have, is we've now got these two corners here. So we've got these two faces, and now we just need to find this face, and we're halfway there with this corner, this corner, this corner, and these two edges. So what we can see here is from this point we've been coming to the left, and from this point we've been coming to the right. Same with this shape, it's going to the left there, and it's going to the left, it's going to the right there. Now what's interesting is when it comes up here to this point, we're not going left anymore, we're actually coming back over to the right. So what we're going to do here is, instead of bringing it to this vanishing point, we want to take this point here and bring it across to this vanishing point. Same with here. This point is now going across to the left, so we're going to copy that. This point here, bring it across to our vanishing point on the left. And where those two lines cross each other, that is our last corner. So I can take my Sharpie now, and you can all lean heavier with your pencils and go round the outline. There we are. So what we've got now is we've got a nice 1 point perspective cube and a 2 point perspective cube. Now, like I said, I wasn't actually in the school last year, so I don't know whether you guys covered this topic. If you didn't, fantastic, that's great, you can have a shot at that. If you did, I would still ask for you to try that, because it will have been a wee while since you've done it. So, what I'm also going to do today is I'm going to upload another video of me just doing the shapes and not explaining them, so that if any point during the work today you get a little bit stuck, you can go and have a look at those videos and just see which steps you're missing. Or if you're really struggling at all, what I would advise you to do is to come back and re-watch this video. Or obviously just drop me a message and I'll see if I can help you. Alright, good luck today everyone.